Okay, hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Right Brain Warm-Up, 30 minutes to retrain your brain to be more creative. Today we're going to have a little photography special. So I've got three amazing people who work in the photography field who are going to talk about their creative processes and what kind of gets them going. So we've got three people up there on the top. We've got Adam Luttick from Lutz Photography there. Down below we've got Nicky from Hell Studios, Nicky Finlay from Hell Studios. And then across there we've got Stu Morley, who's from Tiny Disco Studios, if I correctly
Disco Studios or Tiny Disco, yeah.
There you go. So terrible. I'll read out a little spiel about each of you. So I'll start off with Stu, so everyone knows who we're talking to and how amazing they are. So Stu's a photographer and videographer working in and around beauty, fashion, and advertising. He's also the director of Disco Studios in St Kilda and runs content production company Tiny Disco with his lovely wife, Chelsea Morley. Thanks for coming, Stu.
No worries, thank you.
And next we have Adam Luttick. Adam is a Melbourne-based independent photographic artist. He also produces interior installation pieces where he works closely with interior designers and architects. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Alex.
And finally, Nicky. Nicky is the general manager and co-owner of Hell Studios, where she oversees 3 photographers and 2 retouchers, as well as running the studio. And she's a legend. Thanks for coming.
Hi, everyone.
All right. So we might just start off with the first question, which I'm kind of asking everyone on these videos. We'll start off with you, Adam. What is creativity to you?
Well, to me, especially in the last 2 weeks, I've got to hang out with my kids at home quite a lot. And to me, it's an innate sort of human response, I guess, in order for us to sort of adapt. I mean, I watch them, they go outside and, with no toys, no stimulation, just the backyard, and they'll be happy for hours inventing sort of imaginative play and little games that keep them occupied for hours. And, that's just what they need to do. And I think it comes easy to kids. It's that innate, and I think you touch on it the start of your book, that it's actually taught out of us, creativity as something we're born with and then taught out through sort of institutional.
Yeah, we all become very serious, don't we? Compare like room full of 5-year-olds to a room full of 45-year-olds. If the 45-year-olds have had a couple of bottles of wine, they might be laughing as much as the kids. But otherwise, it can all be a little bit serious, can't it?
It really can.
Yeah. And Nicky, what about you? What's creativity to you?
Well, like Adam said, I think it's something that's inherent. I certainly think using your imagination, thinking outside of the box, looking for something different, and finding the wonders in the world that, as you say, grown-ups might not see, but kids certainly do. I think it's just a really beautiful thing where you can challenge yourself by looking at different things, seeing different things. And I just think creativity is what keeps the world going around. And maybe with all this stuff that's going on at the moment, there might be hopefully a resurgence, and we might drop those boundaries and those things that have sort of prevented us from being more creative in the past. They might come up now.
I like that thing that you're really challenging, because I think that's great about creativity is there's no definitive answer, is there? You kind of just
nothing right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And what about you?
Seeing things differently.
Stu, what are your thoughts?
For me, the creativity is finding a fresh approach to everything and anything, altering everyday aspects of life in spontaneous and entertaining ways, shocking people out of the regular script of life to jolt the brain into fresh thinking. And everyday question might be, you're a photographer. Oh, what sort of photography?
Oh, might just pause there for a second.
The look on their faces. Obviously, I don't, but
Stu, we might just
does break the standard human script.
We might just have to go back there. You pause for a second.
Okay, no worries. Where was I up to?
So what sort of photography? What sort of photography?
So everyday question would be, what you're a photographer? What sort of photography? And the deadpan answer is porn. Just to see the look on their faces. Obviously, I don't do porn, but it really. Well,
the mustache says otherwise, doesn't it?
Exactly. Really trying to sell in that joke, but yeah, it does break the standard human script, and that's what I find I really like, just to sort of freshen people's approach to life. Another example might be, I actually have got this beautiful COVID mustache to become evil Enrique.
Yeah.
It's what I do is I capture Super Art Man, my 3.5-year-old,
Yeah.
and take him to the bathroom where I get him to clean his teeth, and that's the only way he can escape.
Awesome.
But yeah, just coming up with different ways of solving problems.
Yeah, you're gonna get to a point where you can twirl that mustache.
Yeah, twirl it right out there, Enrique.
What got you into photography in the first place? Because you all got really good answers around creativity, but what made you the choice in creativity? Start with you, Stu.
So when I was a few different things, in high school, I had a great teacher. Her name is Miss Washwold, if you're out there watching. She was very encouraging and showed me that not everything involved an essay, which was really great for me. Also, as a geeky, pimply kid, a very attractive woman asked me to take photographs of her in high school, and that was like, whoa, that was quite inspirational. But then I also sort of thought about, you imagine your everyday life in the future, and if you're going to be working all the time, what would you want to be doing all day, every day? And I just imagined, do you want to be in an office? I don't think so. Do you want to be a builder? Oh, maybe. Like medical, cutting people open. I sort of went photo shoots, models, creativity, and catering. And I'm like,
the perfect triumphant.
Yes. Yeah.
What about you, Adam? What got you into photography?
I guess it was an outlet, especially I sort of got into it as a teenager, I guess, and wasn't very good at writing, like Stu was saying. Essay writing I was never into, couldn't really get much from sort of other areas, and then all of a sudden I found the outlet was photography, and things started to make a lot more sense when I would complete a project. I felt a sense of sort of calmness, and that I wasn't getting anywhere else. So it was sort of fulfilling a need to understand my sort of world around me, I guess.
It's an interesting word you're using there, that calmness, because I can imagine, because I'm not a photographer, and always when I see photographers work and just go, it's so amazing. That calmness would be, because you really have to be in the moment when you're taking a photo, aren't you? It's almost a little bit of mindfulness because you're really studying composing and things. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's two-part. Like there's the moment you're composing and you have to be in that moment. And then there's also the calmness you get when you finish an image and you can sit back from it and look at it and then feel calm that it's actually helped you understand more about whatever the theme or question was you were posing to begin with. And I think you can make more sense of the world in general if you have an outlet that gives you that.
Are you doing photography making more sense of the world with the lockdown that we're on, or is it just kid time?
Yeah, I plan to take some images, but it's kid time at the moment.
Yep.
And then sleep time.
Yeah.
But I think I'll get some time this week. So it's interesting, what in isolation, what is your theme going to be? Is it going to be isolation? Are you going to try and take images that convey that, or are you just going to go, no, actually I've always wanted to shoot a macro series on, my kids' installations they leave around the house, the weird little things that
my kids still leave installations in the toilet. They're more performance art, I think.
Yeah.
And Nicky, what got you into the field of photography?
So I guess I come at it from a different point to the guys because I'm not a photographer. I started in ad agencies as an art buyer and a producer, and then found I was really drawn to stories that can be told in a still image. I was invited to join Hell Studios 7 years ago after having done a lot of art buying and always having a bit of a passion. So I've come at it from a different angle, and obviously I'm talking from a business point of view as opposed to photographic purely and simply. But yeah, I just think it's the magic and the story that you can tell in something that doesn't move just based on the composition and the light and the beauty of something, whether it is a macro shot or its talent. I just love that somebody can convey something so incredible with no words.
Mm. And so what's the sort of things you look for when you see that work? What is the thing that makes you go, I like that image? Say there's 100 shots and there's one or two that you just go, that's the one.
Well, I guess it's just something different that stands out. The way, for example, the composition of the way that something's laid out. If there's something that's kind of turned on its head, or something that you wouldn't necessarily expect to look that way, and it just catches your eye, and it's like, wow, shit, I wish I thought of that. Or how extraordinary, where was their thinking to deliver, the flower upside down, not on the stem, but the other way, just something that sort of speaks to you. And I guess it's different and challenging. And that's what I always am drawn to.
Mm-hmm. Now, so when you guys find inspiration, obviously you've talked a lot about everyday life and stuff, but is there certain things that you sort of just go to fire you up? Stu, was there things that get you fired up in photography?
I get you fired up. Not really, just so for me, like, what do I look for in my work is I'm all about sort of the final product, imagining the final product before I start the shoot. I like to take all elements, location, lighting, talent, angle, and that sort of things, and then mix and match them in my head to visualize the best combination for the ultimate result. Also, with shot selection, I try not to go for the perfect obvious shot. I try and find some something different, something interesting, imperfections in there that really make it so beautiful. So that's sort of what I look for in my sort of stuff.
Yeah, obviously I'm a writer in advertising. I'm always like on shoots and at TV shoots, I'm always like, the hair's messy, that's fine, that's real. Don't put the hair down. I like that imperfect, because that's real. It's often like when you look at old like film ads and film photography, like the grain in film, when everything's crystal clear, I think you lose some of the heart, don't you? It's like the old CD or MP3 versus a turntable LP, isn't it? Just something about something crackling and just being a bit off makes it interesting.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. That's a good word. What about you, Adam?
Where do I look these days? I look social media a lot, because back when I was sort of learning or shooting film, it was all about photo books for me, finding different photographers' photo books and going, wow, but they all seemed kind of untouchable. I mean, I wasn't publishing photo books at the time, and they seemed like these, kind of untouchable figures. And now with social media, there's so many awesome photographers and artists on there, and you can almost feel personal when you're looking through their stuff, or if they're good at it and they post kind of how they work or what inspires them, you can really get a good sense of their overall work just from like following their Instagram, and they become more real.
In particular that you just go, oh my god, and why?
I like, well, I think he calls himself Little Brown Mushroom, his feed, but it's Alex Soth, the Magnum photographer, who I used to know his books, and now he must get right into it, because he posts a lot of poetry that it is, which I've never really sort of crossed into, but poetry that inspires photography or vice versa, or themes that he's told stories on that people have written on, and which is very interesting to me, because I can't write, so and it's good to see others, how they approach their work.
Sorry, see my daughter cruising along the background there. That's funny. Kids inspiring. What about you, Nikki?
Similar to what the guys said. Obviously, movies. I find sometimes even the credits to TV shows and movies can take you to a new place. I remember when True Detective came out, everyone was talking about the credits. They were really unique. And I found that was a bit of a trend in briefs we were getting. People were saying, like the credits for True Detective. So movies, film clips, watching top 40 videos or Rage or something like that, and seeing those artists' different take on things. Stories, books, poetry, or any sort of art, anything that can inspire you and take you somewhere else, and you can visualize something a little bit different, I think is inspirational.
Yeah. Do you have any particular photo idols in particular that you go, oh my God, that just moves me?
Not really, because I think it's really broad, and it depends on my mood. If you're feeling a little bit somber, if you're feeling a bit bleak, you might find solace in something that's really different. And then another day, you know, you're feeling really sunny and upbeat, and you look back and you think, oh shit, what did I see in that? But it's where your headspace is on any given day. So I think every day it changes, and I think that's what's really wonderful, that there's so much versatility out there. And with what Adam was saying about every day Instagram, there's somebody new, amazing popping up. Just staying abreast of all that stuff keeps it's really fresh.
Do you guys have like a favorite shoot or something that you've done that you just think, oh, that was when everything just clicked and I loved it, and that was what sort of made you think, oh, I'm really good at this photography, I really enjoy it? Do you have something, Stu, like that?
There was a shoot I did with Ushies, and yeah, that was good fun. And you know, it really did when Alex, we shot it together.
Yeah. We're talking about future landfill, just so people at home.
The little squishies,
the little
squishy things.
where we reshot them in there. Yeah. So Stu obviously shot that, which was mental with Tom Whitty and all the other people to make it go mental, which is great, good fun. So let's go, Stu.
Just loved it when that idea all came together, you know, and trying to recreate those Lion King moments, you know, and trying to, you know, say a good message, but also this with that extra message behind it as well, which I really felt, you know, gave me a lot of purpose. You know, that we weren't just working for, you know, it wasn't for money, it was for a purpose, and I really enjoyed that.
I thought what was good about it is that, because the kids got given them, which you can see one of them running around. You can hear the footsteps if you listen to the podcast. But they got given it, and I was like, we should reshoot them. You there she goes again.
There she is.
But Stu, because you knew Lion King really well, I sort of had really vague knowledge of what Lion King was. But you went, oh no, we should reshoot this scene and this scene and this scene. So you did all the things. Like this.
Iconic scenes in the head. Just, you know, in the iconic scenes, if you can speak to people's memories, then it can really draw out great emotions and actually get the message across much better.
What I thought was really good is like every person added something else on top, and it made it better than just one person or isolated. Like so many clever people around, like you guys. That's what's good about, I find, with creativity. Hopefully you can all inspire each other to be even better. And Adam, is there something that you've shot that you just go, that sums me up really well?
Yeah, I think I was, because I do a lot of street photography, personal work. Most of my stuff's in the street, and there's always that time of the day where you hit it and everything's happening, like the light's perfect, there's, you know, great shadows, but there's also interaction, like the, you know, people are going where you want them to go, and you're just getting frames where, you know, all your sort of ducks are lined up, the composition you feel is right, your symbolism's right, and there's perfect light. And I've had small patches of that on outings. One in Sydney a couple of years ago where it just all happened, you know, and probably in 20 minutes I got 5 workable images for, you know, something. It was like, wow, that's amazing. But yeah, usually in the street. So
yeah, awesome. And Nicky, is there something that you go, obviously you made the shift from ad agency into art buying into photography? Is there something that you went, when you were started at Hell, you went, oh, this is the place for me, like this makes my heart sing?
Well, I guess for me, again, it's a bit of a different approach. I think when everything comes together, from my point of view, the magic happens in the pre-production as well as on the shoot, as well as in the final delivery. So we've had several projects where the photographer's been competing against other ones, and we've proven that we're the right team. The photographers understood the brief and then added some value and magic that I just feel so proud of. And then there's this extraordinary synergy on set where the talent come together. You know, the light is perfect, like Adam was saying. Everything just seems to be so right, and then you see the end results, and I can sort of sit back and think everything really worked on that one. And you might have challenges if you're on location, and weather and traffic management and all that kind of stuff. All of that for me makes a beautiful end result. It's probably very different to the guys because the photography is only one component. I've got all the other side of it. But yeah, there's been a few, and you can sort of sit back, and when you see the final image, it's like, wow, yep, I've done a good job here. And yeah, I'm super proud of pulling all those little elements together to come together and offer something extraordinary to the client.
It's pretty rewarding when you have a story like that. So what I might do now, we've asked some nice questions. We might do one of the questions from the book, The Right Brain Workout. So we do this on every episode of the Right Brain Warm-Up. So we're going to ask this question. This is question 23 from the book, which is here. You can see The Right Brain Workout. This is by Hayden Gregory, who's a director and a multidisciplinary artist. So his question to you guys was, if you could time travel and meet yourself as a child, what would you say to yourself to prove who you are? So hopefully everyone listening will come up with their own answer and leave a comment, and I might hand it over to you guys. Whoever wants to go first. Stu, you look like you're chomping at the bit. Maybe that's just your mustache saying it already.
Wait. Enthusiasm, come on. Ooh, all right, okay, so I gave it a bit of a thought. This is my reaction would be, hang on a second, I can time travel? Forget about chatting to me as a dribble little twat. I would head back to the days of Studio 54 and disco down with the tallest platforms and widest pants I could find. Or go back to when the St Kilda Saints won a premiership. But anyway, we won't go on about that.
That's a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, it's a long time ago. You didn't say. So if I was to go back to, see my child and convince, see me as a kid and convince him that I was me, I've got a very long tongue, and look, that would have happened all the way through life. So I would have been able to just produce the tongue. Look, buddy, we're the same. Nobody's got a tongue like this. So yeah.
Everyone who's watching is obviously going to want to see the proof. So therefore, Stu, are you willing to show the proof?
You really? Just okay, I'll do it. Ready? Okay. So second longest tongue in the world, unofficially. Ready?
Whoa.
So
take that, James.
I can still talk. Though. This is a good thing.
So if you're listening to that, just say it goes past Stu's chin by quite some distance, and everyone else is like I am gobsmacked. So they would definitely prove it. Nicky, what's your answer for if you were a time traveler, you could meet yourself as a child? What would you say to yourself to prove who you are?
Well, yeah, I was also amazed that I had the capacity to be able to time travel. That was pretty cool. What I would probably say to my younger self, when I was 6, my sister was born, and I really struggled with that because up until that point, I'd been an only child. I'd had the monopoly on all birthdays, Christmases, on both sides of the family. Like, I owned it. I nailed it. And then my chubby little sister popped up, and I really struggled with her entering the scene, and I was really quite put out, and I was really quite nasty to her in the beginning, as kids do, because she took over my bedroom. I got moved into what was formerly the dining room and everything. I just was really put out. So I would definitely say to myself, I know how you're feeling about Tanya's arrival, but just rest assured, she's going to be okay. You'll get used to it. She's kind of fun. You'll be friends. And I know that younger me would think, yeah, she's definitely me, because that's how I was feeling.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Adam, great. Over to you.
Well, yeah, if I was time traveling, once I'd, stopped betting at the TAB with my sports almanac by my side. And,
we were just it was on just last night, actually.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Classic. Still don't have hoverboards though, do we?
No.
After that, I guess I'd say something to freak myself out, because that's probably what I do. Something like, I've been watching you through my memories. And then, I don't know. Then I'd probably just say, I know you know where Mum hides the Christmas presents, and I know you haven't said anything because you're scared they'll stop coming. That's the only reason. Something along those lines, I think.
I love it. That's what I like about asking these questions, how completely different the answers were. They're all so different and so great. So thanks for that. That's awesome. So before we wrap up, one more question. Is there like a website or something that you guys could send people to? So maybe Adam, if you website to see more of your amazing work.
Well, you could go to lutzphotography.com.
Yep.
Look for this book, might come out soon.
So what's it called?
That?
Adam? Just so people
Everything
who are
must
listening.
go.
Yep.
It has pictures in it. It's a photo book. Hopefully that'll be out. You might be able to pre-order through the website. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for that. Nikki?
hellstudios.com.au, just like that. Follow us on Instagram. Yeah, everything that you need to know should be there. Hopefully answer all your questions about hell.
Brilliant. And Stu?
Awesome. So I've got either stumorley.com. It's actually just stumorley.com. I don't know my own one, and or at Stu Morley, and then we've also got Tiny Disco. So Tiny Disco at Tiny Disco or tinydisco.com.au.
Awesome. I'll put those links in the program description and stuff like that. So thanks all of you for being on. Hope you have had a good time. Fingers crossed. I reckon everyone at home will have got something amazing out of that, because I did. I thought it was brilliant. So thanks very much for all your time. Until the next episode of the Right Brain Warm Up, when in doubt, turn to your right side and have a good day. Legends.